Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Yes, it's our special 2026 high school football preview show. Glad you're with us here on 757 Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV with the coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. Ed, the games get underway this week. Ready to rock and roll with all 5 districts, the Beach, Eastern, Southeastern, Peninsula, Bay Rivers. We're already doing this, just getting it all revved up to hit it out of the park. You ready to make some picks and show off the expertise, the insight, the knowledge, and see where it all falls?
Throw it up, see where it lands. It's one of them statements, rock and roll. Everybody, hey, man, it's time to rock and roll. Okay, you got a guitar, you know the words?
No, I don't.
No. So we're not rocking and rolling. We're getting ready to do these picks and let people know how the chips might fall.
Oh, okay. So let's start off with the Beach District. I think the big storyline is Green Run has won 61 consecutive games over Beach District opponents. They have the big out-of-state matchup, which we've talked about on the show before with Coach Brandon Williams and some of the standouts like Malik Marsh, who's headed to Elon, and Tayron Whitehead, who's going to William and Mary, and others on that football team. Devin Miller, Tajon Palmer committed to colleges as well, Campbell and Elon too. They got the big-name quarterback, which we'll touch on here perhaps in our player of the year picks, and Maricus Banks from Phoebus, a 2-time state champ. But you also have a team at the bottom there under Casey Turner. He took over for another star-studded quarterback in Phillip Sims. Turner was at Great Bridge. It's year 2. PA's fallen on hard times, 47 straight losses. There are a couple of new coaches, though, in the district. We interviewed Dontrell Leonard recently from Bayside. You also have in the Beach District, in addition to Dontrell Leonard at Bayside, DJ Dinsmore, who we had on the show from First Colonial, some second-year coaches like Glenwood Farabee at Tallwood. So the Beach is kind of ever-changing, and it is the largest of the 5 districts in the 757 with the 11 schools. But at the top, I think you got to begin with the team that's been the top dog, right? The Stallions.
That's my pick. You said 61 straight Beach games. Well, I dare say
53 regular season, by the way.
I dare say they'll go undefeated in the Beach. I could see it. I think Salem, maybe Lansdowne and Cox. I think they have a great shot going undefeated. I don't want to disrespect nobody, but I'll have to say I think they waltz through this.
Okay, well, they have some – I mean, early on, Salem, Cox, Huff are their games after the opener against Tallwood. So that there's a chance, you could go to October with a blemish or 2. It's quite possible because Huff is a nationally ranked top 50 team, and losing to them, there's no shame in that whatsoever. Let's get to our top 4 finishes before we get to our player of the year choices offensively and defensively in the Beach District. And there's mine on the screen. Yes, that's, well, we think it's me. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like me. It's got some makeup and some lipstick. I don't know who made this graphic. It's
what in the world?
Oh, Lord of mercy. I'm going Green Run 1. Yes. What were you going to say?
That looks like an extra on Law and Order.
I'm not going to disagree with you. It's not my best looking appearance. And it looks like my my half brother Claudio. He lives up in Schenectady. He lives up in Schenectady. But anyway, matter of fact, that's Claudio's watch. That's not my watch. I've got a Fitbit now. I'm going with Green Run number 1. They have the pass rush to go with Banks, by the way, with Corvin Watson and Junius Clay and Quavon Cleveland. Lansdowne number 2, though, they're my most surprised team pick in the area. I think with Anthony Turner, the quarterback, who's nationally decorated, 20-plus offers. He's drawn some comps to E.J. Manuel, former NFL first-round draft choice from Bayside. I'm going to go Salem 3, but I'll caution by saying Mark Hall's team is capable of knocking off anyone in this district. They have a speedy running back in Jason Harden Jr., the defensive backs with Caden Drenning, who's going to Toledo, Jack Strother, and a healthy quarterback now in Landon Curls. Landon Curls might be your breakout quarterback in the 757. He got hurt last year coming in from Grassfield, didn't play a full season. And Cox number 4. But Cox, they always find a way. And you always talk about the tennis against the wall. They don't beat themselves with mistakes. Tyler Noe's team. they could go 8-2, and it won't shock me one bit. So that's my top 4. How about your top 4? And oh my goodness, look, you got your arms crossed. You look a little upset. Okay, Bob De Niro.
Something tells me I'm not happy with my own picks.
No.
Wow. That's a tough look. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Green run.
Was that after a third quarter run of 18-2?
I'm either upset at a player or I'm looking at an official like, is this your first game ever? Green run for the same reasons you're saying. They got a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball. Banks at quarterback is extremely good. Multiple guys on defense. I don't see him losing the Beach District game. Yes, my number 2, Salem, I think they beat them. But I think it hurt Salem to play them that early. Now, Salem gets them right after the Huff game, right?
Salem gets them before the Huff game, 2 weeks
before the Huff game. Ooh.
Yeah, it's actually Salem's first game. As you watch the ticker here, we had earlier that their first game is actually the bye week, so they play 10 straight to the Sun Devils. Yeah,
because if Green Run is looking ahead to Huff, and they got to play Salem first, Salem will be ready for Green Run.
Well, it's Salem. It's Tallwood, Salem, Cox, then Huff. Yeah.
Okay. That Tallwood will not be a distraction for Green Run. Cox 3. I believe in Cox a whole lot. They are a team that you better be ready to play. They're not going to make a ton of mistakes. They've done that pretty much. They're been their MO on them, no matter regardless who's coaching. You like Lansdowne? I sipped on the Kool-Aid. I will put them up there. You like him much better than I do. I'll put them 4th and leave it at that.
I'm surprised you didn't put. I'm really surprised that you didn't put Bayside there for them. No longer coached by the one that was a good friend of both of ours, John White. Rest in peace. Don Trellerno's taking over there. They have Kyron Flash Brown running back, and also my man Boogie. Anytime you got Boogie and Flash, you got a chance. Jair Boogie Collins, the sophomore defensive back, leading the way. But they can be a fly in the ointment, as can Kellum, with the guy that I think is the best player in the district. That will take us to our Player of the Year picks. I'll go first on offense. I'm going, Ed, with Offensive Player of the Year, the guy that was the Region 5A Player of the Year last year. Why not? Yeah, Kellum didn't win a playoff game, but Aaron Smith is going to Wake Forest, 69 catches, 1267 in terms of receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, had a pick 6 against Kempsville. He's the best player in the Beach and maybe the best player in the area. He's my Offensive POY Player of the Year. Who do you have for Offensive POY Player of the Year?
If I'm not mistaken, I have Green Run quarterback Marcus.
No, it's not Marcus.
Macias.
Maricus.
Changed his name. Changed schools. Changed his name. Give me Banks for Green Run. Often when I'm looking for top player, I'm looking at who's best team. Green Run, I got him up there. Banks, I think, could be the best play. He can throw it. He can run it. I'm going with Banks.
Okay, yeah, had a big year last year for the Phantoms and a couple of rings there. How about for defensive player here? You going with the Stallion for that too, or are you going to go outside of the Green Run realm and stray away from Dahlia Drive?
For some reason, I strayed away from Dahlia Drive.
And by the way, if you can't pronounce the first name, just go with the nickname. Go with the nickname. And I bet you have a guy that's got a nickname there for your defense.
Oh, I got nicknames for every player. I'm a little bit like Hank Sawyer. I can throw some nicknames at the players, but people won't know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm going with a guy who has a pretty good lineage. Dad was a pretty good player. And I'm thinking this guy will have his own signature year. And they'll be saying, instead of "that's my kid," that's his dad. So
he's got the same nickname as your dog, doesn't he? He does.
Yeah, I'm going with Bear Simmons.
Shakir Simmons, okay.
Yeah, at Lansdowne at linebacker.
2-time all-region performer. That's not a bad pick. I thought long and hard about him. Okay. So that's your defensive player of the year. You go with Banks on offense, Bear Simmons on defense. I'm going to go with Caden Drenning of Salem. I can go with pass rushers for Green Run, the Watsons, the Clays, the Clevelands, even Teron Whitehead or Tajon Palmer on the back end of the secondary. But I'm going to go with Drenning, the Toledo commit, 13 grabs for 295 and 3 touchdowns last year, but he had 74 tackles, 12 pass breakups, and 4 INTs on defense. I think he'll be stellar on defense. He looked great in the offseason. So that's my picks there for the players of the year in the Beach District. Drenning on the defense, Smith on the offense for me. You've got Banks on the offense, and you've got Simmons on the defense. So that's going to do it for the Beach District. Coming up next, we go through the Eastern District, where you have the 3-time defending state champion Commodores from Maury High School. It's all on the way. It's 757 Sports Talk, and where they watching, Coach?
Best place to be, CoVA Sports TV. We ask you to like, we ask you to share, and please subscribe.
All right, here with Maury head football coach Doreen McCain of the reigning 3-time Class 5 state champion Commodores. They just concluded a preseason scrimmage. They're second with the LC Bird Skyhawks after the one last week with the Salem Spartans. Coach, first and foremost, how glad are you with Mother Nature to get this entire scrimmage in with all the rain and humidity and thunderstorms that have been wreaking havoc all over the state?
Super glad, man. And for anybody that knows our scenario over the past definitely two, but maybe three, we haven't got that second scrimmage in over the past 2 years for sure. So like to get this in was huge. We needed the reps, and yeah, I'm just glad it worked out long enough. We were supposed to start at 6. I think we got started about 6:35ish. So it worked out, no stoppage. It's what we needed. So I was glad about that.
And early on, your offense was very crisp. You have some new faces. Obviously, you have the returnees like Damo Everett, state player of the year at quarterback, the JMU commit, Tayshawn Branch, running back. But Samir Kroom, he's going to be a playmaker for you among many others that will be key guys as he took one to the house early on.
It's just guys stepping into spots, buying into what we do, and playing team football is just always what we do. And he's another piece and a couple of other pieces that people are going to find out about soon. But I'm pleased with a lot, but that's speaking off the live look. When we get to tonight, when we look at it, and tomorrow when we look at it, it might be a different story. But yeah, I mean, I like the sign of having playmakers and guys doing their job and playing team football, and it's good to see. And names will be coming out soon about who's who, so we'll find it out.
We'll hit on some of those new hidden gems throughout this journey. I know guys like a Traquan Duke steps up, among others. I go through a list of them. Zion, Buddy Mullen for your wide receiver. But is the biggest win from this tonight, everybody pays attention to scrimmage scores, which I think are irrelevant, but that you got out of here healthy with no real serious. I know that's been an issue for a lot of teams, including yours on championship runs, preseason, postseason, about having injuries. But a lot of your main guys, like the Everetts, the Branches, the Matt Williams, who does so much for the Vanderbilt commit, all got out of here with injury-free against a team that's got some dudes like an LSU commit and Chris Whitehead off the edge.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that you just hope on both sides, man. Like, you know, like we can speak about my side, but I don't want to see their studs go down. Like, nobody wants to see that. So it's good to come out healthy. That's probably the biggest thing in a scrimmage is coming out healthy, making sure that we get enough reps and enough bang. But that's probably the biggest plus out of anything. The scores is what it is, and I really don't keep track of that. But to get out healthy, to put some good stuff on tape, and even if we being honest, the good teams, even putting the bad stuff on tape, you want to be able to do that. So I think we got what we wanted to out of the second scrimmage.
How encouraged you when you have your post-game huddle with your group and you ask your coaches, players, any questions? The first one to raise his hand and ask a question without getting into the details of the question and your answer is your quarterback, and Damo Everett, the guy who's the state player of the year coming back for his junior year.
That speaks volumes of him. That's who he is. You know, everybody. It's one of those things where everybody sees him throw the ball. Obviously, people know him as the player of the year, and you know his brother is doing well, and all of this stuff. But just how intentional he is about a lot of stuff, and like. It's not even now. It didn't start last year. It was his freshman year, and this is probably how I knew that he was going to be something special. Is because he's in a room with both Torrey Newkirk and Kendall Daniels. And
we're at North Carolina and South Carolina, respectively.
Yes.
The Carolinas.
Yes. So to share that room with them, I think he gained a lot of experience with those guys and just knowledge. But when we're going over game plans each week, you know, I'm heavy in tune with Torrey and Kendall and just making sure that they understand what we're trying to do, understand what we're trying to do. And here's this little freshman behind them just constantly asking questions. And maybe Kendall and Torrey are over here, but he's on my hip. Hey, coach, I know you said if they give us this, what's this? And I'm looking like, man, this dude is like not even like going to be in with the ones, but he's so intentional about wanting to understand the game plan. So that question is just, it's who he is, man. He's super intentional. He's super like, detailed. He wants to know everything to a T, and that's just like I said. That's what makes him special.
Lastly, and appreciate your time. You heard it after every championship. The first one in 19. Can they do it again? Can you repeat? Can you three-peat? Now it's can you four-peat? And there's obviously graduation changes, staff changes, all those different things that go into it. And you have a brutal schedule with the first 3 games of Mallard Creek, Varina, and Bishop McNamara, you can easily be 3-0, 0-3, 2-1, 1-2. You said to your guys that you're committed for 15 games in 16 weeks. Do you have a sense if this group is committed to that in the 4-Pete?
I think so. I think that any team you're going to have every team is different. And like I say all the time, like I'm not trying to make this team the 19 team. I'm not trying to make this team the 23. So on and so on last year's team. And there was hurdles with each team. So winning it doesn't mean that there was not any issues. It doesn't mean that everything was bad either. And that's where we are with this team, really just trying to figure out some stuff. But I think that we're committed. And it's going to take us a few games to figure ourselves out. And but to answer the question, do I feel like we're committed? Yeah, and I feel like we have majority of guys committed. But it's going to take us a little more, and they understand that. They take accountability with themselves to understand that. So, yeah, man, I feel good about this group, and sky's the limit. We just got to – two things, man. We can't get complacent, and the other thing that we can't control is staying healthy. And even if we don't, guys got to step up and next guy up. So that's where we're at, and we just got to take it week by week and get to second Saturday in December.
The buy-in is there for Coach McCain's Commodores on the road to a 4-Pete. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
It is our football preview show with the coach, Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. So you heard from the coach of the reigning 3-time Class 5 state champion, Maury Commodores. Looking for a 4-Pete, Ed, and it's a tough schedule out of the gate this week. Coming up with Mallard Creek from North Carolina, visiting Powhatan Field. Then they host defending Class 4 state champ Varina. And then they go to Bishop McNamara of Maryland, who they beat in triple overtime last year. Got a hunch. You got two great coaches, McCain and Hank Sawyer at Lake Taylor, with 4 state titles apiece. 8 total. Your picks start with those two guys, don't they?
Yeah, as you can see here, and my good buddy Daryl of Maury fame helped me with this. I go Maury 1, tons of stars, 2 deep almost every position, really good coaching. They're opening up some tough teams. Maury gonna win another state title. Hank Sawyer, Lake Taylor, proven. A lot of young kids, one of the best, most improved teams in the area last year. They'll be right there again also. And then I'm going to round it out with Norcom and Turson, 2 of the Portsmouth schools, which Daryl, when I said that, told me to go on back to Portsmouth. But I said, come on, Daryl.
Did he say that to you?
Yeah, he did.
He did say that.
He told me to go on back. So I did, even though I don't live in Portsmouth, but I went that way on my way home to Suffolk. So, but yeah, Maury is just a class of maybe the state.
Daryl likes me because I gave him some bubble gum at the scrimmage, by the way, against LC Bird. He wanted some candy or bubble gum. I said, I've got that. Remember, you tell Ed Young the next time you see him, $5 and a soda. I've got the same picks as you, my friend. It's a copycat business, I guess. Norcom and Churchland in the 3-4 slots. Maury 1, Lake Taylor 2. I think Maury has a better chance to repeat than Lake Taylor just because of more pieces returning, but you never count out Hank Sawyer. I mean, what a story that was last year from 3-7. The year before to state champions, just magnificent. And now we go to our player of the year picks. Edward, you want to go first here with your offense and defensive choices? A lot of good ones you can go with, be it Commodores, Titans, or even some other guys underneath, like the Logan Winds of Churchlands of the world, the Tyrell Bentons, the quarterback from Portsmouth, and the Greyhounds. A lot of different directions you can go, but I got a feeling you're going to take a Commodore and a Titan, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm taking a Commodore. I'm kind of doing what I did in the Beach. Green Run, I thought it's the best team. I took what I think is the best player on there, or the one that's going to have the ball the most. So I'm going to go with quarterback Dominique Everett of Maury as my offensive player of the year. And my defensive player now, Maury's got a lot of them. I think they cancel out each other. So I went with defensive back Kevin Adams, Lake Taylor.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Got a lot of notoriety last year. So those are my 2.
He had a dozen interceptions, if you recall, last year. Just a bunch for him and the Titans of Lake Taylor. In fact, total of 12 picks to go with his more than 3,000 yards of offense and 35 touchdowns. Dom Everett, 72% completions, 3,500 yards plus, and 46 touchdowns versus 8 INTs. I'm going to go with 2 Commodores. Tayshawn Branch, the JMU commit, 2,000 yards rushing, 24 touchdowns. He torched the Stonebridge defense. And the guy with the best first name in the state, the Vanderbilt committer, does it on offense and defense for Maury. He's my defensive player of the year. We're talking about Matty Ice, Matt Williams, 28 grabs for 461 and 6 touchdowns last year, 5 INTs, can play some gadget quarterback too. He is lethal, dynamic, just tremendous, Ed. And when we come back, it's time to turn our attention to the Southeastern District, a league you once were a part of once upon a time, the SED Picks. One of us does not have Oscar Smith #1. Which one is it? We'll come back and find out. The reigning 2-time Class 6 state champs may be a little vulnerable. You're never vulnerable, though, when you're watching this show, 757 Sports Talk, and streaming all the time where, Coach?
CoVA Sports TV.
All right, here with second-year Great Bridge head football coach Joey Wood as his team wraps up its preseason scrimmages. Cox last week, Kempsville tonight, and they're getting ready for game #1, which I believe is against Northview Pilots. Yes, Coach, what have you seen so far? 2 scrimmages in the books as you get ready for the first game of your second season at the helm.
Yeah, biggest thing is just the guys buying into the process. You know, we've been at it since January, getting a full off season, like starting in January, being in the weight room and everything. It's helped us out a lot, and just getting the guys to focus, not focusing on the time, not focusing on the score, one play at a time, and they've really bought into that.
I know you and I've talked about it last year. The end of the season, you were starting to put up some impressive numbers, whether it be victories or defeats. Do you feel like the mood, you started to see some of the culture change kind of begin that process at the end of year 1 as you went into the offseason?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing as a coaching staff, we had to take a step back. You know, it's not about the plays. It's about making sure the guys are confident in what they do. So putting up points helps a lot, but just the guys buying into everything that we're doing, taking one play at a time, making sure that they get that play down, and then just doing that for 48 minutes. That's been the biggest thing for us.
Got a pretty dynamic two-way playmaker, wide receiver, defensive back Alonzo Duncantel tonight. Had a couple touchdown catches, some yards after the catch, interception, nearly a second pick. He's committed to Hampton University. What do you like most about him in his game?
Football-wise, he can do everything. I love how he comes down at safety. I love how he gets after it at the receiver position. The biggest thing for him, though, he's been a leader. Like, the young guys have gravitated towards him, and now that he's paying it forward. You know, he's getting them ready and teaching them, and in doing so, it's only going to make him better. But, you know, he can do everything for us. So I'm excited for his year this year.
The way you threw the ball around at the end of last year was really opening up some eyes, and good receivers, some passing game. But you also have a couple of backs tonight that showed them in the scrimmage, and particularly even your backup running back running through contact. Do you feel like you've also got that balance with your offense too?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing we're working on. We got to get balance within it. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to take what the defense gives us, but we want to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, even in the pass pro. Like, we want to be able to get after it. Our running backs do a great job of bringing the physicality. Like, they're going to be the ones that help us set the tone. The O-line's going to start it, but they're also going to be the hammer that we need.
Sure. As you know, we got Great Bridge had some players over the years, the Casey Turners, the Dre Masons, you got one Duncantel, but you have some other players besides him stepping up. I hear your guys on the sideline chanting for Liam. I think it's Casio in defense. Tell me about him and some others that we should watch out for in addition to Duncantel this year.
Yeah, like our linebacker core is one of our strengths. Liam Casio, CJ Jackson, and also should just pass that. And then Ryland Stewart. So those guys are leading us in the right way. They're our enforcers. They're our guys that get us going. So they've done a really good job. O-line wise, I'm really excited for Connor Lang. Max Stoller, he's been a 3-year starter for us. And then, you know, the younger guys that are blossoming. I mean, Chase Blatchford, I mean, he's getting looks already. He's my guy at tight end. And then also Jaden Culler, another young guy that is really stepping up. Gavin Merritt, D lineman, rising senior. So I'm just excited for this group that is fully bought into what we're doing.
Last two for you. Tell me about going into the game 1 with Northview. What do you want to see from your team in terms of the things you'll tweak? Because even tonight you get 5 touchdowns in the first half, but you're still coaching your guys through offensive and special teams. Yeah. And your second stepping up, other guys making their plays and effort plays, if you will.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, I mean, they got a great coach over there, and they're building a program as well. You know, so the biggest thing we got to do is just make sure we establish the line of scrimmage, come out and just play our game. Like that's been the biggest thing. Is I feel like too much we've been trying to be other people, and we just got to be Great Bridge, and that's what we're turning the program into. So it is an opponent we got, but it's always going to be about what we're doing, and that's what I was just telling the guys. Like, the scores are great, but that's not what we're focused on. We got to focus on each play until that is at 0-0, and then we can move forward. But I'm excited about it. He's doing a great job with the program, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well put. And lastly, most importantly, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't give you a chance to shout out the little one, the wife, the kids. Tell me about them. They were wanting to say, "Daddy, Daddy, give me a hug." They matter all that.
I know. Yeah,
give me a shout out here so they can
yeah. Brody and Bryson, they're my boys. yeah, my wife, shout out to my wife for giving me this opportunity, because when you got a 4 and a 2-year-old at home, it makes it tough. Yep. It makes it tough.
Happy wife, happy life. All the best to you in the Wildcats. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
How much do you love that, Ed? Joey Wood in his second year got that little one screaming, "Daddy, Daddy." Pretty cool there as we caught up with them at their recent preseason football scrimmage. It is 757 Sports Talk and our special high school football preview show in the 757, where Coach and I give you our top 4 picks for the SED, the Southeastern District, and our Player of the Year choices. And let's begin with the Player of the Year choices, if you don't mind, here to start things off. The one thing we have to say that we're really somber about is a couple of injuries. 2 of the very best players in the district. Lonnie Andrews III, the Oscar Smith quarterback, on the shelf, torn ACL. It was non-football related that happened during the dead period. He's going to UVA, so we wish him a speedy recovery for the Tigers. And then the offensive lineman for Western Branch, who got hurt last year, Kamari Hudson, thought he would be back middle of this season, but it sounds like, based on what Rashad Cook, the head coach, has told me, they're going to probably keep him sidelined because he's headed to Tennessee to play his college football there. And Rocky Top makes a lot of sense, right? You don't want to rush a guy back who's that talented and going to be a big factor in the SEC for the Volunteers. But where are you going for your offensive and defensive players of the year? You can give us either one you want to go with first, and a lot of good choices.
I'll start off on the defensive side. I'm going with a familiar team, Oscar Smith, who usually in the past would put 4, 5, 6 guys up for Defensive Player of the Year. Surprisingly, I see one guy on the list, Kemonte Bynum, defensive back. I'm going with him. And I find out a little interesting stat. He is the only returning all-state or all-region player for Oscar Smith. Think about that now. We're talking Oscar Smith. He's the only one returning that was either all-region or all-state last year. Nobody else. That's not a good sign, and we're going to see in the picks, especially with you, what kind of new sign we're going to see.
Someone's been doing his homework, reading VirginiaPreps.com and listening to his partner's podcast. He is the only one of the dozen that were all-state or all-region. The guys have been hurt like Andrews or transferred out or graduated. For my defensive player, I'm going to go with KC Jordan of Indian River, not KC and the Sunshine Band. Remember that one, right? But KC and the Braves, 12 sacks as a freshman, 12 sacks as a sophomore. You know what that means? That he's probably going to get 12 sacks or more as a junior. Give him to me, and I'm going to take another Brave, Lord Malik Haru. And the Lord said you got to rise up. I really wanted to go with our guy Alonzo Duncantel from Great Bridge. You heard Coach Wood talk about with me. But I don't know if they'll win quite enough games. But Haru won a regional championship as a freshman, 3,000 yards passing, 36 through the air that were scores, 4 on the ground. This guy is SPECIAL, special. He's my offensive player of the year. You can't take him because I did first. So who are you going with now, sir?
No, I'll let you have him. I'm going with Kings Fork's Anthony Henderson Jr., a Maryland commit, given the Big Ten in the near future, transferred out of Bruton. Great. He's had a great career to this point. Now he's going to be doing it for the Kings Fork Bulldogs. I'm going with him at wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. 2 years at Bruton. His first season last year at Kings Fork. He's got 129 catches, 2,228 yards, and 26 touchdowns in his career. So in a league that had obviously the big name, Travis Johnson from Oscar Smith, 4-star wide receiver, Michigan Ed, he looks like he's maybe the best receiver in the district, although Duncantel's going to make a case there at Great Bridge too. And a lot of good choices because you could certainly go with Tajay Curtis, the running back at Oscar Smith, among others, and some other good defensive candidates too. By the way, Dante Gent Jr., receiver for Smith, headed to JMU. Reggie Davis, watch out for him, the defensive back for Kings Fork. He's got 9 interceptions the last 2 years. A lot of options. All right, Southeastern District picks. You want me to go first or you go first here for this?
Let's go young first because you have some surprises I don't. As my agent, Vinny Vanu, my agent. All right, Vinny likes the picks. He got Smith number 1. Until they show me they can't hold on to it, I'm going with tradition here, and I'm going to leave them at number 1. And I know they're missing Lonnie Andrews, the third, the quarterback. A couple linemen have transferred out. Oh, Lord. A freshman quarterback coming in here.
Justice Color, he's good, by the way. Justice Color is going to be good. Yep.
I'm going to leave him number one. I'll go with Fork. I know a lot of people want Kings Fork as the winner, and they've given Smith all they can handle over the years and have been the one team to knock them out. But I'm going to leave him second, right by a slight nose behind him. And Indian River third, as you mentioned, Indian River, you picked for Player of the Year, offense, defense, both out of Indian River. They have the talent. And I flipped the coin, and I'm going to go with my old school Nansemond River at number 4. They've lost a ton. I think they only have a couple starters back total. It's probably going to be one of the worst picks I made based on what some of these other teams are doing. But I'm going to stay with it right there at number 4.
Thanks for taking up all my time here. I got 30 seconds basically. I'm going with number 1, Kings Fork, the Bulldogs to have the bark and the bite. Anthony Jofrion's team, I think they're the most well-rounded group. Indian River at number 2. Going to try to get another region championship with Laura Malik Crew as a sophomore. And a lot of receivers back with Valentino Shaw and Elijah Boggs and Jay Sean Preston. Good running back with Robert Hughes Jr. and Oscar Smith third, because the schedule out of the gate, Ed, is tough with Warwick and Verina and Indian River and Kings Fork. They could be 1-3 very easily with that schedule. And my surprise pick at number 4, I've been telling you, I think Great Bridge has a chance to maybe win 6 ball games this year. They're my number 4 pick in the SED. Yeah, I've got the 2-time defending state champs, Oscar Smith third. You're going to say, yeah, drug test my partner, Matt Hatfield. I know you're going to say it. Go ahead.
No, that's what you feel. You go with it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, whether it's wrong or not.
Do have him third in the state in our Class 6 preseason poll on VirginiaPreps.com, and they're building for the future, I think, there over there at Beard DeLong Easley Field in Tigerland. Coming up, it's the PD, the Peninsula District. Our picks there as our preview show rolls on, and they're watching where, Coach?
CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, subscribe.
Squirrel's got a nut. Found something. He's having himself a good time. He's got the nut. Off to the races.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Rocky the Flying Squirrel. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my head. What's it up my sleeve? Presto. Not Bullwinkle, it's a grounded squirrel. That was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. Did you like Rocky and Bullwinkle, Coach?
It wasn't one of my top ones. I watched it every once in a while as a little kid, but it wasn't one of my top ones. The evil Boris and Nastasha. I remember them.
Boris Badenov and Natasha Vitale. Oh, yeah, they were great. And don't forget about Fearless Leader. Oh, Fearless Leader. Loved it.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my top cartoons.
Speaking of Fearless Leaders, as our high school football preview show in the 757 for 2026 is rocking and rolling underway here. We've lost a lot of Fearless Leaders that have passed away on the Peninsula District in recent years, Ed, with the passing just in the last year of 2 of the best coaches in PD history, Dennis Kozlowski from Bethel fame, Kurt Newsom from Kickitan High School days. He coached in college at Virginia Tech and JMU at Emory and Henry with the Wasps of Emory and Henry. Several years back, we lost the late, great Bill D. of Phoebus, who went on to coach college ball at ODU, and Christopher Newport. Of course, the living legend himself, the king of coaches, the dean with the most wins and state titles, Michael Leroy Smith. That's his full name, the Hampton Crabbers. He's still alive and kicking, and he passed the baton down to Woodrow Wilson, not the president, Woodrow Wilson, but his longtime lieutenant there. And he's been the coach of a Crabbers team that last year was top dog in the Peninsula District. However, they got knocked off in the second round by the Phoebus Phantoms, who got drubbed by Hampton during the regular season. Phoebus had its long winning streak of 50-plus games in a row, snapped by the Wascally Warwick Raiders, who came up and bit them. Phoebus didn't have its 5th state title in a row. They lost to Lafayette in the region championship. But it's kind of a year of transition in the Peninsula District. Don't you agree? It doesn't seem like you have the dominance of Phoebus and Hampton anymore. It's a little bit more wide open than in years past.
Yeah, I think so, because Phoebus last year took a big step down for them. Anybody else would be a great year, but it was 4 losses. That's not Phoebus. So they have dropped. And Hampton has shot back up there like it once was. And now Bethel, a lot of eyes on Bethel. Some new players old faces in the new place of Bethel, so to speak. So they're going to make it's going to be that Bethel Hampton rivalry coming back now, being stronger, I think, than Phoebus and Hampton.
A couple of new first-year coaches with Donnell Cherry at Woodside and Brent Ashley at Menchville, both of whom we had on the show here in the summertime on CoVA Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk. Without further ado, here are my Peninsula District top 4 picks in terms of the order of finish, since you went first the last go-around with the Southeastern District. And I'm going with the Bruins of Bethel. David Porter's team got a lot of new faces in new places, but they do return enough key cogs, in particular Derek Fisher. He's kin to Michael Vick, the Norfolk State coach, and our good pal Dwight Vick, former Hokie and Crabber. Fisher's a three-phase playmaker, offense, defense, special teams, gets it done. The UVA commit. They have to replace the running back, Amari Pryor, Ferrari Amari, who's now going to be running the football for the Pirates of Hampton University. But I'm going with the Crabbers of Hampton, number 2. Had some key graduation departures. A couple kids transfer out. In fact, 2 Bruins of Bethel. But they do have Marcus Chapman at quarterback, and that matters a lot, along with Jaden Ott and Gene Jones Jr., the UVA commit, in the trenches. So a couple of future Wahoos for Bethel and Hampton there. I'm going Warwick with Terrius Downtown Brown leading the way at running back for Coach Thomas Sykes at number 3. Remember, he had that great game, 200-plus yards against Phoebus last year. And I'm going with the Phantoms at number 4. Oh, yeah, another new coach, but he coached in a district last year. Alonzo Coley went from Woodside to Phoebus. He used to be the head coach at Kickinton, Ed, and he also was a longtime assistant for Phoebus with Stan Sexton and the late Bill D on some of those title teams, Jeremy Blunt, too. Jeremy Blunt, by the way, now coaching as an assistant at Norfolk State, was going to take the job in Florida. So he's helping out Coach Vick. It's been a coaching carousel of sorts in the PD lately. Not those same old faces of the Newsoms, the D's, the Smiths, the Causes of the world. But this is what I have in the PD that seems so much more wide open. And it could be a little bit like the Beach had a few years ago. We have a lot of topsy-turvy late game finishes and 7 points or less results.
Well, I think mine's a little different. As my good friend, beautiful friend, Miss Shonda Bailey, steered me in the right direction here.
The girls' basketball coach at Hampton. I see y'all had a crabby party over there. You can't crush a crab, and you're going with Hampton High.
Yeah, I bought her some crabs, and we talked some football instead of basketball. And she convinced me I'm going to Hampton 1, Bethel 2, Phoebus 3, Warwick 4, a little bit different than what you have, but it's going to be those 4 teams jockeying for position. But I think it's a drop-off after Bethel. Hampton, Bethel, very close. Drop-off, then Phoebus, Warwick, very close. I can go 3-4-4-3. And Phoebus or Warwick, I think either one of them could take down a Hampton or a Bethel. On the last night, they could do that. But I'm going with that lineup right there.
The team we haven't talked about at all, the Denby Patriots. They have maybe the best passing combination in the district, Ed, with Kevin Parker, basketball kid, 2, Callan Morrison, Hampton University commit, a.k.a. I call him Jamal Murray. Looks just like him. That's as good a combo in the district. Last year you had them 4th. Were you maybe a year early and you missed the boat? Maybe this is the year they finished 4th, Denby?
I won't be surprised they're in the top 4.
Okay.
Maybe a top 3 at the end of the year. Their athletes are a year older now. Great passing combination, as you mentioned. So I won't be surprised if they're up there.
Are you going with Parker or Morrison for your Peninsula District Offensive Player of the Year? Give it to me.
How about no and give me Marcus Chapman, quarterback, Hampton.
At 2 seasons, he's thrown for over 3,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, but also run for 24 more scores and 843 yards in that Hampton uniform. All right, for offense, since you take Chapman, I thought about Parker long and hard. I really did, but I'm going to go with downtown Terrius Brown, 1,086 yards rushing and 13 TDs. Had that big game against Phoebus I mentioned. I think he'll come closer to 1,500 yards on the ground because Warwick will need it. He's my guy for Offensive Player of the Year, and I've so badly thought about his teammate, Supreme Pain, which is what Ed Young gives me from time to time. I love the name, 9 sacks on defense as a junior. But I'm not going to go with Supreme Pain as defensive player of the year. I think he'll be in the mix. I'm going to go with Derek Fisher. I mentioned it, 3-phase playmaker. He had 7 forced fumbles last year, 2 picks, 1 a pick 6, 5 touchdowns on offense, 2 punt return scores. I think he is the guy that gets it done. So give me Derek Fisher as the PD defensive player of the year. You going with another Crabber, or are you going to go somewhere else for your PD defensive POY?
I'm going another Crabber. I'm giving this guy the nickname the Disruptor. Gene Jones Jr., the disruptor on that Hampton defensive line, the UVA commit, plays the line on both sides. I think defense is going to be his forte. I go with Gene Jones Jr., Defensive Player of the Year.
And as we learned, no relation to the Gene Jones that's your good friend from the administrative.
Former basketball coach in 757, yeah.
And coaching side. No relation from what we were told, at least that we were aware of. I mean, Gene's an honest guy, so he wouldn't lie to us about that. We're pretty sure about that. So anyhow, there you have it. Those are our picks for the Peninsula District. When we return, it's our fifth and final district, and it's Ed Young's favorite district. It used to be the Southeast. Actually, Ed Young's has had a favorite district, all of them except the PD, because he once coached in the Beach for basketball and the Eastern and the Southeastern, and now he coaches with the Smithfield Packers in the Bay Rivers. Where does he have Smithfield finishing? Oh, you better come on back and find out as we put the finishing touches, the ribbon on this edition, closing out the month of August. It's 757 Sports Talk, the preview show, and they're watching where, Coach?
CoVA Sports TV. Come on back.
Hey, friends, it's joke time. It's almost football season, which got us to wondering, what did the receiver say to the football? Catch you later. Let's go back to 757 Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV.
And we're back here for the final segment of this episode in the final week of August. It's our preview show as we go through the Peninsula, Southeastern, Eastern, Beach, and we conclude with the Bay Rivers District, the league that Ed Young now coaches basketball at with the Smithfield Packers. And, Coach, this league's had a little bit of coaching, I wouldn't say so much transition because there's a lot of veterans in the league. The newbie is Danny Dodson of York, who's far from a newbie. He used to coach at Woodside for many years, highly successful, then was an aide for the last couple of years with Andy Lynn at Lafayette. Rams have won themselves, I think, the last 3 region titles, a couple in 3A and most recently in Region 4A. And then you have coaches like a Corey Hairston at Grafton, who was once at Warwick, did a good job there, his second year there. You have another veteran like Tracy Parker, your office mate at Smithfield, who was your office mate at Nansemond River, coaching the Peninsula District at Bethel. You have a veteran like John Byron at Tab, who used to coach at Menchville in the Peninsula District. So it's a lot of coaches that have come in, but the 2 guys that kind of, I say, stand at the top of the mountain are Andy Lynn at Lafayette and Elliot Duty at Pocosin. He's won 3 or 4 regional titles in a row, and they're a fixture in Class 2. They are state title threats. Even if they're not the most athletic teams in Class 4 and Class 2, they expect to be playing not just into deep November, but into December as well.
Well, that's one thing. The Bay Rivers District, 11 teams, but it's one of the districts that has.
Well, add somebody? I thought it was 10.
No, they got 11.
No, it's 10. How much you want to put on that? He's thinking. It's 10.
I'll put $100 on it.
How much?
$100.
Okay. $100 comes my way, folks, because you have Bruton, Gloucester, Grafton, Jamestown, Lafayette, New Kent. That's 6. Pocosin, Smithfield, Tab, Warhill, and York. Oh, it is 11. Crud, I owe you $100.
Make sure I get the money as soon as.
Oh, no, he got one on me. I forgot about Gloucester left the Peninsula for the Bay Rivers. Oh, no.
But we'll get back to the idea of Lafayette dominating. Hey, the Smithfield Ham. Look at this.
And I owe you $100 too. This is not
and
good.
You owe me $100. And by the way, Ed Young does not eat ham, so don't think that is for me. That does represent Smithfield. We know worldwide Smithfield Ham. We also know worldwide Lafayette has an ungodly Bay Rivers District record. What? 104 something, 106, what?
110 and 4. Yeah, I think I said that a few minutes ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Pocosin is right there behind him. I got Warhill coming at 3. Funny thing about this, what? Pocosin beats Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
Warhill beats Pocosin.
Mm-hmm.
Smithfield beats Warhill twice, including playoff last year. How about that going upside down?
How about that?
That's my 4.
And the Packers have some offensive personnel back. Kermit Buggs' son Kyle at quarterback. You got a couple of good running backs there. Ed with the duo that each one over 1,000 yards, Zyron Wells and James Jones. They call him PB Jones, something like that. So there's some good weaponry there, some dynamic backfield there for Coach Parker. Mine is almost identical to yours. I just flip-flop Pocosin and War Hill in the 2 and 3 slots, even though I think Pocosin can go and will go deeper in its region than War Hill probably does in its region. And that's with Region 2A very good, by the way, with Armstrong and Thomas Jefferson of Richmond and even King William, who's no cupcake. I was tempted to put in the 4 slot New Kent Scott Geromo, by the way, another guy that's a veteran. He was at R.E. Lee Stanton and Battlefield and Prince George and now at New Kent in his second year there. Listen, he's high on his quarterback, who is a new guy replacing a good one. Dylan Bowman was a 3A baseball player here in the spring. I was tempted to put them fourth, just like I was tempted to put Booker T number 4 in the Eastern District, but I got to see them prove it to me a little bit more. So I'm going Lafayette 1, War Hill 2, Pocosin 3, and Smithfield 4. You want to go first for Player of the Year or me go first for the Player of the Years?
I think it's my turn.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to give this guy some love because he gives us love. Jael Love, Lafayette wide receiver, second team All-State last year at defensive back. How about that?
Yeah. Catch the football, too, though, because the last 2 years catching the football, he's got over 1,200 yards receiving and 13 TD catches. Not bad, not bad. For my Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Carson Strickland of War Hill. Coach Jerome Rhodes, who we've had on before, we affectionately say looks like he passed from Mr. T's twin or cousin. He is swearing up and down this kid's going to be a Player of the Year candidate, and he's got Micah Mason, the Port of Baltimore Hampton U commit, who had 506 yards receiving to go with 9 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on defense. So I'm going to trust Carson Strickland for my Offensive Player of the Year. For Defensive Player of the Year, who you got?
I'm going to stay with the Rams of Lafayette. One of my favorite names, Baum Hogg, linebacker, but he's an excellent quarterback for this team too. Starts at quarterback, and sometimes you'll see the quarterback playing cornerback or safety on the defense because he's a good athlete. He's the linebacker who's involved in almost every tackle. Give me the ODU commit. Oh, I wouldn't mind hearing that music.
Oh, you want to hear the fight song, don't you? You want to hear it. Rev it up, folks. For the future monarch, ODU. Well, you're taking Baltimore Hog, the future monarch, as your defensive player. I'm all in, baby, and I got my cup. I got it right here, my Clemson cup for the Clemson Tiger pledge right here. I'm going to drink out of the Clemson cup. That's tough. Carter Jones. Keeping up with the Joneses, a Pocosin, 2-time All-State lineman who's headed to Clemson. The Tigers, he does most of the work on the offensive line, but he's a defensive menace too. What's that? He's talking about a cup. What's that, Carter? Oh, Ed Young's going to pay me $200 so I can give him $100 back? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that, Carter. Thank you. All right. So there you go. We're good to go. We took care of that. Clean that up. So there you go. My Defensive Player of the Year, Jones. Yours is Hogg. Offensive Player of the Year for me is Strickland. And yours is Mr. Love. Not Buddy Love, but Jael Love. And that just about wraps up this episode of 757 Sports Talk. We went through all 5 districts, Ed. This was tons and tons of fun. And we're ready for games coming up this week, Thursday and Friday night. A bunch of them to get out to. Oh, I can't wait. Just cannot wait for it all.
Well, we're going to see what happens. And people remember now, disclaimer here, our picks are just that, our picks. We're not hoping somebody finishes 4th. We hope everybody finishes 1st. It'll be a first in the history of any sport. But go out and win them on the field. Don't worry about Hatfield and Young predictions.
And remember, private school football, too. We're going to also highlight throughout the year Norfolk Academy, Atlantic Shores, a bunch of the private schools. We may even pop on our good pal and comrade Will Garlick. So check them out, too. Atlantic Shores football streamed all the time on CoVA Sports TV. So that is at your fingertips too. Statewide top 10s also at your fingertips too when you log on to virginiapreps.com. We've got plenty more coming your way in the future weeks. If you missed any of our interviews like David Teal this past Saturday, it'll be coming up on the TV show portion 2. We'll give you scores every week. Football's here. It's back and better than ever, plus some college and pro football with our over-unders still to come as we count you down to the first week of the National Football League. That's going to do it for the Coach Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on CoVA Sports TV.